Hello, my friend. Hope you're doing fabulous today. I am. I am doing great. I hope you are too, and excited to talk about today's topic. Today, we are going to be talking about all-inclusive resorts. Now, I know a lot of people have been to all-inclusive resorts, and so, you might think, well, maybe this isn't for me because I've already been to all-inclusive resorts. But this is really some good refresher info if you've already been, or if you never have been, then it should be really great information for you. So I love all-inclusive resorts. And so let's dive in and talk for just a few minutes. First of all, at an all-inclusive vacation, your hardest decision might be whether to lounge by the pool or the beach. Typically, all-inclusive resorts are beach vacations and have amazing pools as well. Today, we are going to focus a little bit on several aspects of booking the vacation and different all-inclusive resorts. I'm really just kind of giving a high-level overview of what to expect from resorts and the booking process and where they're located and all kinds of things like that. First of all, what does all-inclusive really mean? All-inclusive really does mean your accommodations, unlimited food and drinks, your activities, your entertainment, and sometimes even gratuities. Most all-inclusive resorts have a variety of restaurants, and most all-inclusive resorts have a variety of activities to do at the resort. Not all resorts are created equal, though. Some resorts have multiple restaurants, and some just have a few, depending on if it's a smaller resort or whatever. But it's everything from buffet to a la carte restaurants. There's just so many different options usually for eating at all-inclusive resorts, and all of the restaurants are included. So if you are familiar with cruising, then you know that over recent years, not all of the restaurants on the ship are included. There are some really great free options, but there are also some upgraded options. They're called specialty restaurants or specialty dining, and you have to pay more for those. Occasionally at a resort, an all-inclusive resort, they will have a single restaurant, which does include a surcharge for dining there. But most often, everything is included. All of the restaurants are included. Also, occasionally at certain restaurants, there may be a dish or two that have a little bit of a surcharge, like lobster or prime rib or something like that. But most often, everything is included. More often than not, every single thing, every single restaurant, every single dish on the menu at any restaurant is included. However, there are some specific things about restaurants at certain resorts. Some restaurants require a dress code, and so you would want to know that before you go. Some restaurants require reservations beforehand, and generally reservations are pretty easy to make. You just make them with the concierge at the hotel. Occasionally, or sometimes, the resort has an app that you can make the reservations at. It's pretty simple to make the reservations, but sometimes they are required in order to, get a seat there. So just look into kind of the ins and outs of the restaurants before you go, just so you know what to expect. Okay, so all-inclusive really does mean unlimited food and drinks. Let's talk about drinks for a minute. So unlimited drinks include both alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages. So that is true. If you are familiar with cruising, cruising has extra drink packages, beverage packages that you can add on, but at resorts, they're all included. The fine print, though, is that premium brands or specialty cocktails may be an additional charge. So if you're one of those that is interested in fine wine or aged spirits, just kind of do your homework and check on what's covered so that you just know what to expect before you go. But other than a few items that may have an extra surcharge, it really does include unlimited drinks, alcoholic, non-alcoholic, while you are there. Okay, let's talk about the all-included activities. So like I've said, most all-inclusive resorts are located on the ocean. And so you usually have a beach. Pretty much all of them, at least that I know of, have a pool. So your water sports are included, fitness classes, live entertainment. But the included water sports are usually just the non-motorized ones. Any of the equipment that you can check out and use at the beach, like paddle boards or other equipment, is all included. However, motorized things like jet skis, those incur an extra charge to rent those. Then also usually the resort features like the gym and the pool and the sports facilities, they're all included as well. There may be like some premium level exercise rooms or exercise classes that may involve a surcharge, but most of the time, almost always with the gym is included and the classes. But there also may be a premium level at the resort that has its own lounge, pool, beach section, something like that. And of course, when you are booking the resort, you are welcome to book into that section so that you have access to the entire resort if you'd like. The exclusive areas usually have no requirement other than just you book that type of room. So other things that would be an extra charge would be stuff like diving excursions or spa treatments or golf. Those types of things would be an extra cost. So make sure you ask me about the inclusions and possibly any extra fees, just so you can know what to budget for. And I do that all the time. Like I help people book all-inclusive resort vacations constantly. So I pretty much know all the ins and outs. And if I don't know, I can surely find out. So it's pretty simple for me. But all-inclusive really is an amazing option. With so many options, where do you start? How do you even know? I would recommend check out the scenery. Do you want a big long beach to walk on? Is that one of your things that you like, a long beach? Do you like a really deep beach? Do you like really nice and shallow entry? Do you have little tiny kids that you would love to have a little bit more enclosed area or blocked off so it's not just all open that your kids can go wandering? Are you looking for like large waves crashing on the beach so that you can go boogie boarding or surfing? Do you want like kind of that jungly, secluded retreat so that you can see all of the fun little local animals, monkeys or birds or whatever lives there? Is that kind of what you're looking for? Or do you want something that's cleared and just more wide open with just the resort and the beach and the pools, that you don't have a jungle type of location there? There are so many things to think about, and it may not really matter that much. You might just be looking for a great property and you'll take what you can get, and that's great too. But if you do have a specific preference, let me know so that I can help guide you in our research. Another thing to think about as you are trying to find the right resort is what kind of an atmosphere is there? Like, are you going on a solo trip? Do you want to, have an atmosphere of, where there's a lot of other singles there? Are you looking for a romantic escape? Are you looking for something for your family with lots of kids' activities? Do you want a wellness getaway? The resorts all specialize in different things. And so decide kind of what you're looking for and ask me, to help you find one that aligns with what you're looking for. Another thing that is helpful is prior people who have stayed there. So you are welcome to look into the reviews for different resorts if I suggest them and see what people are saying. You are also to ask me and check with me and say, what have people said about this resort, or what do people like about it, or whatever, just to see if it aligns with kind of what you're thinking, what you want to have. Let's talk about booking for a minute. Most all-inclusive resorts include the little things like Wi-Fi and gratuities, especially depending on location. Those things may be already included. So just, check just so you know whether it's included or whether there will be an additional cost on that. Another thing that sometimes pops up is some locations have a local tax that cannot be prepaid. It's usually not very much. It's usually like a small little environmental tax that they just charge like maybe a couple bucks a day or something like that. But you just don't be surprised as you check out because that may be added to your room total. Like you've already paid for everything well in advance, but that little charge may be added to your room as you're checking out. So just don't be surprised by that because in some locations that is a thing. Also, if you have flexibility as to when you go, prices can be fairly significantly different depending on what time of year you travel. So if you have some availability, ask me, when are the best times to go? When are the prices the best? Because a lot of times going off peak or during shoulder season, you can really like, there won't be so many crowds. It can save you some money. And of course, if you're headed to a tropical location anyway, the weather should be fantastic year round. So you won't really have to worry too much about weather being terrible or not as good some times of year versus others, but the pricing may be better. Of course, just like anywhere, if you're going during the holidays, the pricing is going to be more. And if you're going kind of in off season, then pricing will be better. I just want to mention insurance. Travel insurance is not just for show. It really can cover everything from trip cancellations. Most of the time, travel insurance or often travel insurance, I don't know if it would be most or often, but doesn't cover cancellation for any reason. Like it would have to be a covered reason, but it does cover during travel, a lot of during travel expenses, like baggage delay or trip delay for you if you ended up having to stay in a hotel because your flight was canceled and you couldn't get out or something like that. Travel insurance help cover those types of things. It also covers things that you don't really want to think about, like medical or dental, emergency transportation, things like that, if something were to happen that way and you were to get hurt or sick while you were traveling. So travel insurance is a great idea. I always recommend it. I always ask about it when you're going. So just keep that in mind that you may want to add it. It's like peace of mind in your pocket. So now you've booked and you know you're going and you're just getting ready and you're traveling. So now what do you do once you get there? I always think it's a good idea to kind of get a lay of the land and scope out all of the options right at first, the first day or two that you are there, so that you know where the different restaurants are, where the different experiences are, just kind of know what your options are. It's terrible when people don't find out until the last day that they could have done XYZ if they had just looked for it or whatever. So check out where all the restaurants are, book the ones that require reservations right when you first get there or as early as possible to make sure that you get the dining experience that you want. Try all the restaurants that you can. I recommend that. And then it's also really fun to, when you're at an all-inclusive resort, not just stay there, but it's fun to do an excursion or two. So think about maybe exploring the area where you are and getting off the resort a little bit, even if it's just for like one day or half a day or, maybe a couple of half days during your stay, because it's really fun to get to do some of the things off of the resort. There's all kinds of, cultural tours, there's nature hikes, there's all kinds of really fun adventure type of things. Ask me for recommendations. I love suggesting different activities and sightseeing things that you can do. And most of the time you can pre-book those. So I can give you options that you can pre-book so that you already kind of know before you get there, okay, on this morning, we're going to do this or go here. And these other days, we're going to relax and just make it a fun, varied experience. Let's talk about tips for a minute. Depending on where you're staying, the gratuities might already be included. And very often they are, but not 100% of the time. Very often. I would say way more often than not. Gratuities are already included. But just remember that if you do have some exceptional service, you may want to give somebody a few dollars because a little tipping goes a long way and recognition is always amazing, no matter who you are or where you work. So it's always a good idea. I always recommend bringing a few dollars, like small bills that you can use for tipping if the occasion arises. And then definitely while you are there, you are going to want to try out as many things as possible. So if the resort offers activities or things that you have never done, many resorts offer free scuba lessons just in the pool. So try that. A lot have different water sports activities like maybe parasailing or other things or different types of foods or all different kinds of things that you may not have experienced before. So I would suggest trying everything you can while you're at an all-inclusive property because, it's all included. Let's talk for just a second about where all-inclusive resorts are located. They are in the Caribbean, places like Jamaica, the Dominican Republic, Barbados. Not all Caribbean islands have all-inclusive resorts. There are some that have very nice resorts, but they're not all-inclusive. But some of the top three, I would say, in the Caribbean would be Jamaica, Dominican Republic, and Barbados. Jamaica is amazing. It's got this wonderful culture, all these beautiful landscapes. It's really amazing. The Dominican Republic is known for its huge, long stretches of beaches, just beautiful. Barbados has these amazing local people, kind of like Jamaica, a very rich history, and that's a fun place to go to. So, Caribbean has several islands. I just named a couple, but several islands that do have all-inclusive resorts and several that do not. Then Mexico has the three main areas in Mexico are Cancun or Playa del Carmen. You may have heard of those areas. Of course, Cancun and Playa del Carmen have the famous white sand beaches. They are great for couples, for families, for pretty much just about everybody. There are so many all-inclusive resorts there that I totally can help you find one if you're interested in that. One thing I love about Cancun is it's nice and close to us here in the US. You don't have a long flight to a Caribbean island, and yet Cancun has the same Caribbean beaches that are all throughout. So that's beautiful. Then another place in Mexico that has all-inclusive resorts is Cabo. And Los Cabos is known for where the desert meets the sea. So it's really a deserty kind of inland. It's a deserty atmosphere. And, there's cacti, and, all kinds of sand and dry. And yet it meets the ocean and it's just really beautiful. And then Puerto Vallarta is kind of the mix in between the two because it's located in between the two. They have mountains, they have beaches, they're kind of known for lots of adventures and lots of fun things that you can do in the area. So Caribbean and Cancun are the main places that have all-inclusive resorts. But in addition, there are some in Fiji. There are only one or two in Hawaii, not much. Hawaii is really not known for its all-inclusive resorts. The Maldives and Mauritius are some other places that have all-inclusive resorts. So, winding up, how about some takeaways? All-inclusive vacations are irresistible. I love their blend of relaxation and adventure. Like they're just so fun. And the bonus, of course, is that everything is paid up front. So all of your gourmet meals, all of your activities, everything is already paid for before you ever get there. Make sure that you research or ask me what that kind of the atmosphere is or the I guess tone, I don't know what the better word is, atmosphere of your resort. If you want one that's like more quiet and relaxing and laid back, then you really don't want to be at a huge party type of resort. However, likewise, on the flip side, if you really want to, meet some people and have some fun and just really have more of a party type resort, then you'll be disappointed if you end up at, a really laid back, lazy kind of place. So check with me and make sure that you're getting what you think you are. I also would recommend don't book just on price. This is really a case of if it's too good to be true or seems too good to be true, it might be because the property hasn't been renovated for 20 years or something. They can make pictures look amazing and you just really never know what it's like. So be careful about pricing. And I mean, there's all different price ranges, and there really are ones where you can get a great bang for your buck, but there also are ones that I don't recommend. and there are ones that I think are just fabulous and amazing. So there's like everything, all different types of all-inclusive resorts. So with your research done and everything paid for, and knowing that your food and your drink and your entertainment are all taken care of, then you can start worrying about whether you want to choose between relaxing at the beach or at the pool. So that is just kind of a fun thing about all-inclusive resorts. They're just really great. I love them. So if you want more information about them, if you're thinking about going, if you want to maybe put together a trip, feel free to contact me. I'd love to talk to you. Also, not talking anything about all-inclusive resorts at all. Remember that I just wanted to put in a word for our river cruise. If you are new to the podcast or haven't heard me talk about it, this October, if you're still listening when it's 2024, this October, we are going to go on this amazing French river cruise. And we are bringing along our own French chef with us. Her name is Rowena Rasmussen. And it's just because I just talked to her and I just thought that would be a fun thing to have our own French chef. So we're bringing her. And so she is coming and she's going to do some food demos and we're going to get to pick her brain. She travels to France, like 2 or 3 times a year, every year. So she's been like everywhere and she knows all the fun things to do. And like food wise, of course, she's a foodie because she's a chef and has done lots of fun activities. And we are going to be floating down the Seine on our river cruise, the Seine River, visiting the beaches of Normandy, visiting Monet's gardens, visiting the birthplace and home of Joan of Arc. I mean, just so many great places. And of course, Paris. Can't forget Paris. So if you are interested, contact me and I will give you more information. There are some specials. If you are listening or watching this in March, there are some specials that go away on March 31st, after March 31st. So I know that's just, not very long, but if you are thinking about going, let me know and I can get you all the details and help you out. So thanks for, hanging out with me today and talking about all-inclusive resorts. Have a great rest of your week and we'll talk to you soon. If you've enjoyed this podcast, I would invite you to like, share, or leave a review. Let's help grow our wellness travel community.